Listen to me, everybody wants the success, but nobody want to go through the process. You're looking at somebody else's blessings and wondering why it ain't happened for you yet. There are moments in life when you're standing in the middle of your storm, asking yourself, why is it taking so long? Why haven't things turned around for me yet? Why does everybody else seem to be moving ahead while I'm stuck in the same spot? And in those moments, you begin to feel like maybe your prayer wasn't heard. Maybe your dream wasn't meant for you. Maybe you were wrong about the vision that was planted inside you. But let me tell you something with absolute certainty. A delay is not a denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. The timing might not be yours, but the promise is still yours. See, attempt. God doesn't work on your clock. He's not checking your watch to see if you're comfortable with how long it's taking. He's shaping you, molding you, preparing you, and sometimes protecting you from what you think you want but are not ready to handle. There's a reason why the blessing hasn't shown up yet. There's a reason why the opportunity hasn't landed. There's a reason why the phone hasn't rung. And that reason is not because you've been forgotten. It's because you're being positioned. God's delay is his way of saying, I've got something bigger, something better, something you couldn't even imagine, but I need you to trust me in the meantime. Think about the farmer who plants a seed in the ground. He waters it, nurtures it, makes sure it's covered. But for a long time, there's nothing visible on the surface. If that farmer didn't understand the process, he'd walk away thinking the seed was dead, thinking nothing was happening. But underground, something powerful is taking place. Roots are spreading, strength is being built, and when the time is right, that seed will push through the soil and reveal what's been developing all along. That's your life right now. Attempt. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Just because you're still waiting doesn't mean you're being denied. It means your roots are still being strengthened for what's about to break through. You ever notice how when you pray for patience, you don't just suddenly wake up patient? Life puts you in situations that test your patience. When you ask for strength, you don't just magically feel strong. You're placed in trials that demand you to fight through, to push harder, to discover the strength you didn't know you had. That delay you're experiencing right now is building the patience, the faith, the wisdom, the resilience you're going to need when the blessing finally shows up. Because let me tell you something, if the door opened too soon, you wouldn't be ready to handle it. If the opportunity dropped in your lap before you had the maturity to hold it, you'd waste it. Sometimes God says, not yet, because he loves you too much to let you mess it up. Don't confuse silence with absence. Don't mistake waiting for rejection. God's delays are divine timing. There are lessons in your waiting season that you can't afford to skip. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream of greatness, of ruling, of being elevated, but before that dream came true, he was betrayed by his brothers, thrown in a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused and left in prison. Years went by, and I'm sure he thought, Lord, what happened to the dream you gave me? But what Joseph didn't realize was that every delay, every detour, every painful season was moving him closer to the palace. The pit was part of the process. The prison was part of the preparation. His delay wasn't denial. It was positioning. And when the time was right, he stepped into everything God promised him, and he was ready because the waiting shaped him. That same principle applies to you. You may be in your pit season. You may be in your prison season. You may be wondering why the dream seems so far away, but don't lose faith in the delay. Your journey is not stuck. It's unfolding. God is aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities behind the scenes. What looks like a pause to you is progress in his plan. And when he's ready to move you, it will be sudden, it will be powerful, and it will be undeniable. But right now, he needs you to trust that the silence is not the end. The wait is not wasted. Your delay is not your denial. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is looking around at what everybody else has, where everybody else is, and then using that as the measuring stick for their own progress. You scroll through your phone, you see somebody posting their new house, somebody showing off their new car, somebody announcing they just got married or they just hit a milestone in their career. And then you look at your own life and you start thinking, man, I'm behind. I'm not where I should be. Look at them. They've got it figured out and I'm still struggling. But let me tell you something that will set you free. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. You don't know what they had to go through to get there. You don't know how many tears, how many failures, how many nights they spent crying, praying, attempt, and wondering if they'd make it. What you're seeing is the highlight reel, not the behind the scenes. See, comparison is the thief of joy. The moment you start measuring your worth against somebody else's success, you rob yourself of the peace God is trying to give you in your own journey. Attempt. You're not supposed to have their blessing. You're not supposed to walk their path. You're not supposed to live their story. You've got your own assignment. God didn't design you to be a duplicate. He designed you to be an original. But if you keep looking at their lane, you'll crash in yours. If you keep staring at their blessing, you'll miss the one that's meant for you. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in school and you're taking a test to attempt. The teacher walks around and you're so focused on what the student next to you is writing that you forget your own paper. You get caught up trying to copy their answers, but what you don't realize is they're taking a different test. Their questions aren't your questions. Their paper doesn't look like your paper. And in the end, even if you copied every word, you'd fail because the assignment wasn't yours to copy. Life works the same way. The reason your journey looks different is because your questions, your challenges, your lessons, they're unique to you. Stop peeking at someone else's test. Focus on your own paper. Now let's talk about the danger of timing. Some of y'all are stressing because you see people younger than you doing things you wish you had done. Somebody's 25 and already successful. Attempt. Somebody's 30 and they've got a family, a business, a dream life. And you're saying to yourself, why am I so late? But who told you you're late? Who told you you missed it? See, man created clocks, but God created timing. There's a big difference. Just because somebody else arrived early doesn't mean you're behind. Sometimes God saves the best wine for last. Attempt. Sometimes the greatest blessings come after the longest wait. You've got to stop comparing your season to somebody else's harvest. Your seed is still in the ground. Your roots are still growing. And when it's your time, nobody will be able to deny it. When David was chosen to be king, he wasn't even invited to the lineup. His own father didn't see his worth. All his brothers were standing tall, strong, looking like royalty, and David was out in the field tending sheep. If he had compared himself to his brothers, he'd have thought, I'll never measure up. They're stronger, smarter, more equipped. But God said, man looks at the outward appearance, but I look at the heart. David wasn't behind. He was being prepared. Attempt. He wasn't overlooked. He was being preserved until the right time. Don't think just because somebody else got the crown before you that you're disqualified. Your crown has your name on it. Your blessing has your address on it. And no amount of comparison will make it arrive faster. Let me make this real plain. If you're at chapter 1, embrace it. Don't despise small beginnings. Every bestseller starts on page 1. Every skyscraper starts with a foundation. Every giant oak tree starts as a seed. Stop being ashamed of where you are right now. Your story is still being written. And what God has for you will not miss you if you keep walking in your purpose. Somebody else might be on chapter 20, but that doesn't mean their story is better. It just means they've been writing longer. And when your chapter 20 comes, it'll be worth every page it took to get there. So hear me on this, stay in your lane. Run your race. Keep your eyes on your assignment. Don't let Instagram fool you. Don't let envy eat you alive. Don't let somebody else's success make you doubt the power of your own process. You are not late. You are not forgotten. And you are not disqualified. Your chapter 1 is still beautiful, still necessary, and still part of the masterpiece that God is putting together in your life. Life will knock you down. That's a guarantee. There's not a single person walking this earth who hasn't had a moment where it felt like the bottom fell out. You lose the job. You lose the relationship. The money dries up. The dream you thought was about to take off suddenly crashes. And when you're in that moment, It feels like the end. You start questioning yourself, questioning God, questioning whether you'll ever bounce back. But I need you to understand something right here. Right now, every single setback you face is nothing but a setup for your comeback. The pain is not permanent. The loss is not final. The fall is not fatal. What you thought was the end is often the very thing that launches you into a new beginning.